You've got $1,000. Maybe it took you 4 months to save it. Maybe it was a tax refund, and now it's just sitting there. And every day you look at it thinking, okay, what do I actually do with this? You've heard people say invest it, but invest it where? In what? What if you lose it? And honestly, does $1,000 even matter? Is $1,000 really going to change your life? Yeah, it actually might. And I'm going to show you exactly why and exactly how. My name is Wesley, and I spend way too much time thinking about how small amounts of money become big amounts of money. If you're someone who has finally scraped together their first $1,000 and has no idea what to do next, or you keep saving up and spending it before it can grow, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's the thing. Most people look at $1,000 and think it's not enough to do anything real with. That thinking is the trap, because the $1,000 isn't a destination, it's a launch pad. Here's what most people don't realize. The difference between $0 and $1,000 isn't just $1,000. It's the difference between zero options and actual options. When you have nothing, every financial decision is reactive. The moment you have $1,000 sitting somewhere, you have a buffer. You have agency. You have the beginning of a different financial life. Now let's do the math most people never actually sit down to run. If you invest $1,000 today into a broad market index fund at the S&P 500's long-term return of around 10% per year, and you never add another dollar, in 10 years that becomes $2,594. In 20 years, $6,727. In 30 years, $17,449. $1,000 never touched again. But here's where it gets really interesting. Add just $200 a month on top of that $1,000 base, and you cross $10,000 in under 4 years. And $10,000, that number changes everything. I'll show you why in a minute. Before we get to $10,000, I need to talk about what stops most people from letting their $1,000 grow at all. When you finally have $1,000 saved, a weird thing happens. It feels like enough to be scared of losing. When you had $200, you weren't precious about it, but $1,000? That's real money. So you leave it in a savings account earning almost nothing, or you spend it on something safe just so you got something for it. There's a concept in behavioral finance called loss aversion. Losing money feels about twice as painful as gaining the same amount feels good. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky proved this decades ago, and it explains exactly why people with $1,000 in cash sometimes make worse decisions than people with nothing. Now, you might be thinking, Wesley, I'd rather keep it safe than risk it. I hear you, but here's the thing. Inflation runs at 3 to 4% per year on average. Your $1,000 sitting in a 0.5% savings account is quietly shrinking every single month. Doing nothing isn't safe. It's a guaranteed slow loss. So why does $10,000 matter so much? First, psychologically, research on financial well-being shows that having $10,000 or more in savings dramatically reduces financial anxiety and improves long-term decision-making. It's the threshold where most people go from feeling like they're surviving money to feeling like they're managing it. Second, practically, $10,000 is enough for a real emergency fund with money left to invest. It's enough to fund the start of a small business. It's the number where you stop reacting to life and start planning it. And third, this is where the math gets satisfying, $10,000 compounds at a completely different pace than $1,000. At 10% annual return, $1,000 earns $100 in year one. $10,000 earns $1,000 in year one. That interest payment alone exceeds your original principal. That's the moment money starts making money at a pace you can actually feel. Step 1. Put that $1,000 somewhere it can work. A high-yield savings account for your emergency buffer. A brokerage account, Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard for your investing portion. Even $500 in each. The point is you stop letting it sit idle. Step 2. Add consistently. $660 a day is $6.60 a day. With your $1,000 head start and 10% annual average returns, you hit $10,000 in roughly 3.5 years. Most people spend more than $6.60 a day on things they genuinely cannot recall buying a week later. Step 3. Don't touch it when it gets scary. Markets drop. They always have, and they always recover. The people who reach $10,000 aren't the ones with the best stock picks. They're the ones who started, added consistently, and didn't panic in a bad quarter. That's the whole strategy. Boring? Yes. Effective? Every single time. Here's the analogy. $1,000 invested is like planting a tree. You don't dig it up to check the roots. You water it, leave it alone, and add more seeds. Eventually, you're sitting in the shade wondering why you waited so long to start. Look, if you have $1,000 right now, you're already ahead of nearly 40% of American adults who couldn't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. That money you've been sitting on, questioning, overthinking, it's not small. It's the seed. The path from $1,000 to $10,000 isn't luck or perfect timing. It's starting, staying consistent, and understanding that time does the heavy lifting if you let it. The version of you that has $10,000 in the bank didn't wait for more. They started with exactly what you have right now. If this changed how you're thinking about that $1,000, drop a comment below. I read every one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Every week, I put out videos designed to help you understand money in a way that actually changes what you do with it. I'll see you in the next one.